Excuse me, Commander.
He's not on right now, sir. He's just AFKing right here. I tried to talk to him just before he got here.
What, he just went AFK?
I think so.
Oh, you're in a VC?
No. Oh, is he? Okay,
That's what I just said in chat, yeah. Alrighty, well,
my bad.
Mr. Loken, when you have a minute, do you know when you might be free for me and you to talk real quick? Right here? Okay. Give me and him just a second, Trooper. So, yep, all good. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, smoke bad dog. Hello.
Do you think we can maybe speak privately in your barracks, or do you want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, follow me. Just to confirm, you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you.
Lovely. It's a bit of a slow one.
Yeah, you're good.
Being such a heavy door, you know. And you come. However, if this bomb ever gets nuked, we are fine.
That's fair.
Can't say the same about everyone
I've
else.
never actually got a chance to come in here, so.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
it's my humble abode. Yeah, we'll come through here to the command room. Shit. There we go. Doesn't look as big, does it, on the outside?
It does not. Okay, can you hear me from
That's our
5 meters?
conversation. Yeah.
Alrighty, so, I
Hang
just
on.
I wanted to ask
Hang
you,
on. Right.
so I wanted to ask you this quickly. You have the right to say yes or no, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
There was a man that goes by that one guy, or something like that along those lines.
I've heard his name many times in the recent events.
Mm-hmm. I am also
Yeah.
aware that you guys don't have the best standpoint with each other.
He doesn't have the best standpoint with us, I'm not gonna lie. We don't really care.
And I'm sorry for bringing it up,
I don't know
his
who he is.
name overall, but he wanted me to potentially come over and let you and him talk with me being there. But I know that that might cause issues, so I want to know. Of course, I will stop it if things are starting to get, but I want to know, are you fine by that happening or no?
If he wants a conversation, he can have one. Yeah, I don't really care.
Because I don't want it to be a case where, two people, um, like get a back and forth or, get into an argument, stuff like that.
Aye. No,
And
I'm chilling, don't worry.
I also understand your point as commander. Me and you have talked a lot before. I understand where you come from in a lot of different cases as well. Um, and he was talking to me for a good little bit as well. But of course, now since I know you and since I've had good standpoints with you and everything, I can't take sides either.
No, yeah, totally fair. I mean, like, realistically, he doesn't need permission to have a conversation, you know.
No,
It's,
I know that. It's just that he wanted me to be there with it. And I
oh,
didn't,
right,
and
okay.
since I know you, since I know that he's been having problems with you, or either way around, you've been having problems with him, either way around, doesn't matter. It's just that it's still a thing that I need to make sure, that nothing, bad would come from that.
What's the purpose of the conversation?
I actually don't know. I have
Oh, fair enough.
no clue, actually. He just wanted me to be there about a conversation, apparently.
All right, it's okay.
I just wanted to know if that is fine by you.
And is it just us three?
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah,
Do you mind if I go bring him into your humble abode here?
of course.
Alrighty, I'll be right back, Commander.
Roger.
Sorry for TPing you, brother. It was just way easier to do that. So after speaking with him, he's fine to have a conversation with you, as I told him, because I don't know what the conversation is going to be about. I am going to be there. It is going to be just the three of us. It is going to take place in his errant command building. I have also made it very open, though, that if anything starts to happen to where it turns into a back and forth, or where it feels like something is going to brew out, I'm going to stop it there, and then I'm going to let you guys go your separate ways. Alrighty?
Okay.
Alrighty, follow me.
Hey, let's.
Okay, so I have made it clear as well to Mr. That One Guy that if anything starts to beckon or anything like that, that I will stop it there. I've also told the same That One Guy to the commander, okay?
All right.
Well, what's going on with his uniform?
Well, I got my strike, so I can't do a marksman, so I'm just doing this now.
So you're gonna have to go and put on your standard issue uniform of the 23rd standard airborne kit.
All right, I'll put it on later.
No, you can do it now.
All right, so just wanted to get this actual talk done.
We're not having a conversation till you put your kit on, mate. You're currently fucking out of uniform out of regs.
All right.
You can get an infraction for that, so I'd recommend just quickly going and changing up.
All right, let me go put it on really quickly.
I'll delete that real quick. Sorry about that, Commander.
Say again, sorry, mate.
I said sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
Do you need something?
Was just checking out everything. No, I don't. Sorry to waste your time. I'm chilling.
You're all good, brother.
All right. All right, so I just wanted to get this out of the way, because I'm gonna get something set up where it's gonna be me, you, and admirals, commissars, all the other guys. Big conversation about you. I just wanted to talk with you, just one-on-one, about you overstepping as a commander. You know, your boundaries and all that kind of stuff. It's not very professional.
in my opinion. You know, trying to push for multiple people's, trying to just overstep the whole strike system. I think that's pretty a bad look on you to try to push for other strike, like trying to push punishments that aren't your call to make is not your job, not even your like realm. Doesn't matter if you wrote the commissary, doesn't matter if you did this or that, you don't do it now. You're not a commissar, you shouldn't be in there doing that kind of thing. Not very professional, not very appropriate. The fact that you even tried is absurd. You know, you trying to gaslight, you trying to lie to people, not very good on you either. Trying to lie about your whole, you don't have a strike, you do have a strike. Trying to lie about you did this, you didn't do this, you did do this, that kind of stuff. I got a lot of things about just your behavior. Like, your strike long ago, you're supposed to act better, you have not acted better. It's just, I just want you to do better. Like, that's all it is. It doesn't matter if you're a good commander for just errant, you need to be a good representative. It is the thing. And I'm not the only one who shares this sentiment. I'm just the only one brave enough to come to you about it. And, yeah.
Well, thank you for your bravery. So, with the whole, first off, let me touch on the strike. I've never ever denied not having a strike.
I have a screenshot of you in our
Okay,
games
wait,
and
wait,
everything.
wait, wait, wait. The commander let you speak throughout that without
Okay,
any
I'm sorry.
interruptions.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Indeed. So, yes, I have had a strike. I do not have a strike. That is what I'm saying there, which is the truth. I've had a strike, yes, because I had the run-in with the AdMech a while ago, and I made a very inappropriate comment, which then I was issued by the commissariat, a strike 1, which then I went through, and then it was scrubbed off after 30 days, I think, or actually technically it was 36 days, but yeah. And then obviously overstepping my boundaries. Obviously the one thing you brought up there was me, what was it, pushing for punishment on people? Can I get just examples on that just to refresh my mind?
Well, myself, I have been told by multiple people in positions that you tried pushing for my strike 3 instead of my strike 1 for referring to you and Lofty as shit officers in general chat. You tried pushing for my strike 3, and then you did the same with Bubbles. You tried doing the same thing with Bubbles.
Okay. I do not recall ever saying that you need a strike 3. Can you please do me a favour, instead of using where the tongue, get like screenshot proof?
Yeah,
obviously you can ask the Fleet HQ to go and look back and try and find that in the BFA server, obviously. And yeah, but obviously, you know, where the tongue only gets you so far. But I mean, I'm allowed to share my opinion. If I think something, I'm not trying to do it, but I'm sharing my opinion. Now, if you had a suggestion and I said to you, because of your position, you are not allowed to make such a suggestion, you would then feel oppressed and you think, oh, well, no, I'm allowed to share my opinion, which is exactly what I done. I never said, no, he needs this, he needs that, this, that, and the other. I didn't even recall saying that in the first place. However, I'm allowed to share my opinion, and anyone is. If you saw someone on base who was a reinforcement or a guardsman or any rank messing about and trolling and causing shit on base, and you said, yeah, that guy needs a ban, you know, and then me comes to you going, why would you say that? You can't say he can be banned, you're not a commissar, you know, so that's the situation we're in at the moment. So if things a bit unjust that you're to say that I'm not allowed to share my opinion.
No, I'm saying that that's a very different situation. Somebody running around killing people is a very different situation than someone expressing their opinion of 2 officers, which they have the right to do as a specialist in a different regiment, giving opinion on 2 officers in a different regiment doing a poor job with the rest of the community, and you know, expressing their opinion of them. That's very different from a team killing random. And, you know, expressing your opinion that you want that person punished for expressing that opinion, that's not an opinion, that's a suggestion. And you're a commander in Errant, the professional regiment, so you have more expectations, more responsibilities, you're expected more of than any other commander in the entire fleet. and you should know that it's a bad look to add in your 2 cents about how to punish someone for expressing their opinion about about said person, rather than it being a team killing random. Those are very different situations and very different like responses. So you should know what is appropriate, and you should know what is responsible of you to say, instead of going about doing that kind of stuff. And I just find it really funny that you don't recall any of this happening, but you always have a reason for it. I just think that's very interesting. Like about the 48 thing. That's what I've been trying to really push about, is you threatening to ban people over 48. I've been told by Brack, you don't have that power. Well, you shouldn't be threatening it, period. You shouldn't be doing that. How would it be fair if, like, it wouldn't be any other different situation if, like, let's say Olez, or let's say Olez before you got demoted and all that, if he was still commander, let's say Olez, or if McCaw, or I don't really know who the commander of Nacho, like Nacho's not the commander of Bastion, but he's like kind of there. Like, let's say if any of those guys, in any other higher position, if Brack was on there saying over 48, I'm gonna start banning you guys because you're doing accidental blue on blues. It's very obviously not white shields. It is specialists in different regiments accidentally killing other specialists in regiments, because it's poxwalkers. Blue on blues are very common. Threatening to ban people over those with, this very serious tone, instead of like oh, come on guys, stop doing that. It's, no, you guys gonna get gone. You guys are out of here. It's that kind of tone. I wouldn't expect any other commander, any other person in that position to do that kind of stuff, let alone the commander of the professionals, who is expected more of him. And I've talked with the admirals about that, and also about previous behavior too, and they try to make it seem like it's a big brother looking after little brother thing. It's not. It is not one of those things. It's very obviously not one of those things, because if it was, there would be constructive, stuff. There would be stuff about, like, do this instead, not, I'm gonna ban you, period. Not, hey, let's try to handle it like this, let's try to do it like this. None of those. It is, stop it now, period. Or just, there's no constructive anything. It is just straight to the point, aggressive to any other regiment. And also this whole thing, actually, I'll just pause on there so you can respond to those, and then I'll continue.
Lovely.
If you have
so yeah, obviously, the whole ban thing, I do not recall, and obviously the one person you said could vouch for you was someone who was no longer part of the server. Considering there was a full, game of people, you'd think there'd be more people to step forward and vote.
Yeah.
Interrupted. Okay. Anyway, so obviously I was also, so not only am I a group commander at that time, I was also a server admin, aka an invigilator. Now, the invigilator role is an administration role that was issued to people to basically operate as admins in the server. So that was another duty that I upheld. So theoretically, if I was to carry out a punishment to someone, I had the authority to do it because I was an admin. Obviously, depending on the situation. Now, if I'm hearing blue on blues, there's a fucking bunch of guys running around swatting friendlies. Now, that to me sounds more like a troll than an accidental blue on blue when it's something so consistent. Now, like I said, I do not even recall the situation, so I'm trying to answer for something that I don't even recall doing to begin with. But I'll give you that flavour for the sake of the conversation. But yeah, so theoretically, at that time, I was a server admin. In this, what was it, 2 months ago or a month ago? Was it?
No, this was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so yeah, well, I had my admin or the invigilator role taken away about 2 weeks ago. But nonetheless, I can't even remember what else you're talking about, to be honest. What else was there? What did you bring up?
The 48 thing, I don't really remember the other thing I was going to bring up was just making shit up about this, like, oath to errant, that, because I've been told by people who have access to these channels that they had to make a rule now that you can't kick people out of groups because you just made shit up about, you're signing an oath, you're signing a, like, made up oath that you have about being with Errant, because you signed up for Errant, you're signing a NDA that you had no idea about. That if you even so touch Kazakhstan stuff in another server, you get kicked out without their even knowing. So my greatest example, Bappy, 2G, and Stone, that you had to have your arm twisted to let back into, because I know you wouldn't have let them back into it if the entire server didn't know about you kicking them out for this apparent swearing to Errant oath that you had.
That's your opinion, but yeah.
But yeah, I know you wouldn't have, because you had to be told by the fleet admiral.
Todd, back on topic.
But yeah,
Are you done, or are you carrying on?
But that was pretty much it. You can go ahead.
Okay, lovely. Yeah, so the whole thing where we kicked them out, right, we have rules in the 210th Discord, which has been a Discord since before the BFA, due to the whole thing that happened in the 8th. Now, that whole idea of allegiance to the 210th isn't an oath, it's a rule. We have rules, that's just the system. The reason why we have that rule completely contradicts one of the reasons as to why you give us shit in the first place. So that rule exists because we are the smallest battle group in the fleet by a landslide. We are very small. Now, with that being said, we want our men, if they're going to be involved in Arma Reforger 40k, we wanted them to be committed to our cause. Because of the fact that if they're playing as other roles in other places, they're not going to be able to come on and represent the 210th within this server. Then pushing people like you to come to us and say we're inactive, we don't get on, we're basically useless in that aspect because we don't play, which is exactly what you've done. So essentially that is contradicting one of the very, very facts you brought in. So one of our rules was to benefit one of the things you tried to call us out on. Obviously, yeah. Now, what happened since then is that we obviously come to realise after, it was 3 a.m. when we did this, woke up the next day and then we realised, oh shit, do you know what, we were a bit too fucking rough on these guys. They put a lot of commitment and time in, but let's give them let's have a meeting and talk about it, and then let's speak to all the men about it, which we did. We had 2 meetings going over the whole thing, and then we realised, do you know what, it isn't that deep. We can fucking get them back in and we can bring them back in, because realistically it's a video game. So let's fucking get them back in, let's give them the opportunity to come back and we can crack on. And since then we've done that, and then we spoke to all of our men and said, you guys are going to be able to vote as to whether we're going to allow dual simming or not. We give them 4 options in regards to the whole dual simming situation, and they all voted the freedom to be able to dual sim. So from now, obviously, from the other day, it is now officially able for guys within the 210th to be part of other units and experience, obviously the 40k experience in Arma Reforger elsewhere. But obviously, with that being said, we are more tighter on activity and making sure our troops are still putting the hand in the pot when it comes to server activity. So that was obviously a mistake that we made. We are not perfect. Mistakes happen, and that is something since then we've mended. So yeah.
Yeah, so, talking about that, without getting too deep into it, because this will lead into my next thing, who wrote the whole thing about how to get into Errant, like the trial? Because me and you talked about this. Who wrote that? Who decided how you get into Errant? Like, you have to go through the trials, all this stuff. Who decided that? Who made that?
The selection and training?
Yeah, selection, the trials, all that stuff, just to get into
the idea of a selection was proposed by Slim Chuckins of the 8th Cadian, and then he told me to then create the training, in which I did.
Okay. Was it intentional to make it as long as it is? Was that intentional?
Yes, a month, 4 weeks.
Okay, so not only do you have a month-long training for a special forces thing that you threaten to ban people over talking about, when the trainings are extremely obvious, you do them in front of us, but you threaten to ban people over it, about talking about it or sharing information about it when you do them in front of everybody. Not only that, you have the month-long thing. You have a rule that if you had the rule that if you did another mil sim with Kazakhstan stuff or whatever, you get kicked out. All right, so you're forcing people to do a month-long training just to get to just to get to where they want to be. So making it, you know, a long process, then forcing this person who bought the video game, who wanted to play the video game, to play only your milsim, because if they want this cool stuff and want to be part of this group, but they can't, and then making them, you know, not be able to branch out and play other games, or they get kicked out and waste that whole month of training just to get through the training, not to be, you know, involved with everybody and get to know everyone and, you know, have fun with everybody. It's just to get through the training and, you know, maybe every now and then get fit to get with everybody, or, you know, whatever.
Interesting.
You know,
Am I
just
able
trying
to
to get through
just
all of that, just
put
to
you
get
up
to
on
the,
that
just to
part
get to
there?
the armor.
Am I able to just, before I obviously forget about it? Well, first off, they do get involved. They play with us in every operation during their selection. They just don't wear the same armor as us because it's part of selection. They also get to know all their team, all their class. They spend all the time with their class. Because of your position and rank, you can't see, but our Vox channels are always full. When the candidates are training, they're always spending time and bonding together. But when we are doing operations, if you've seen it yourself, then you've seen that they operate by our side and they run with us from start of selection to end. And they represent the 210s in name and in uniform. So obviously that's, you know, not entirely correct. What was the other point you made?
Well, it was, well, first, I've been...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
The training is in front of you guys. No, well, it's not, because we do it in the private server. Whether it's obvious to you or not, then congratulations. But obviously, our training we like to keep close to our chest, just because that's how we are and how we operate and how we have operated for a year, and how we intend to continue operating.
Yeah, what do you mean?
The training isn't exactly rocket science, you know. But you know, we still have pride in what makes us Kazakin, in our own personality, our own training. So we keep it to ourselves. If everyone had access to our training, then everyone would be doing it. Who obviously operates in the field as infantry, you know, they'd take part of it and think, yeah, it's useful, sorry, we're gonna start doing that.
Good copy.
Yeah, so you think
That's
it's
what makes
appropriate
us
to
who we
threaten
are.
to ban people?
To high com.
Threaten to ban people.
over? You
Well,
very,
well, so,
there
no,
was a
that's-
literal...
Be careful, be careful.
Admin requesting large spam at
There was a...
Northgate.
Okay, go
Give
ahead.
me a sec.
No, it's okay, go.
I'm not too sure if
I was
they
going to say
took
that
it
there was
back
a literal announcement. I could probably find it if I scrolled far enough in server announcements or one of them of someone, one of the admirals, I think it was, or it was an errant member, you know, talking about like it was someone had given paperwork to someone else, and then it was, you will be banned if you share anything about errant trainings, and that meant anything. So I don't think it doesn't matter if it's obvious or it's not obvious, if it's your special thing or it's not. You don't threaten to ban people over your like fucking ranger training
Well,
and
yeah,
PvP
well, that
training.
wasn't one of us. That was a member of FHQ.
Okay, well then, okay,
In the
still.
announcement.
Yeah, okay,
So
that's what I was trying to make sure. I didn't know
FHQ
who it
were fine with
was. Whoever did it didn't matter. It was the fact that they'll get banned for doing it. That's the main point. It doesn't matter who said
Yeah,
it. It was.
I understand your point. Obviously, FHQ are fine with it, and they're announcing it. That's you know.
Yeah, I've called them out on it. It's ridiculous. It's just brain dead to threaten to ban people over a regiment, over a regiment's training that realistically just is what everyone else does. Like everyone does what they do without even realizing it. Like,
Well,
like they just do it with
we
more.
do a
like,
lot of things.
Yeah, I know.
There's a
I
lot
know
of
you do
things
a lot of
involved in
things.
our
You do because you guys have done. Realistically, you guys do the same thing everyone else does, but with more armor and like guns and the 1,000 hot labs or whatever. The cable and all that. You guys, because you guys raid shit, we do that. You guys, you know, get into the worst of it and you know do sneaky stuff.